Okay, welcome, Drink with James, episode 93. Big week. I'm sure you guys saw that we dropped the card, that 4 card changed to 4. If you haven't seen a lot of the videos that we put together, you get to meet a lot more of the team. It is more than just me that works here, believe it or not. So you get to hear from the design team about the rebrand, you get to hear from the product team about the new product, you get to hear from everyone about what they think this company kind of means. You get to hear from Rich and I about how we started it. So very cool. We go to our YouTube channel. You're probably already on it, potentially. And check those videos out if you have any interest in this company, because I think it is fairly illuminating. I also have a piece of insider news. I recently applied to try and have my account verified, which I'm hoping and praying I get. I think that I deserve a blue check. I think that I have faith that I'm going to get it. I probably won't, but I'm keeping the faith. If you want to get verified, I've helped a couple people put together a case for verification. The first criteria is generally that people are impersonating you on the platform. So if there are fan accounts, so if you have your account and there's 5 people who have like fan accounts of you, or if people are using your avatar and a name very similar to you and reposting your photos and trying to trick people to think it's you, that's a really good, that gives Instagram a good case to verify you. The other is press, not just press that you are mentioned in or press that you've like given a quote on, but press pieces specifically about you, or where you, or for our brands out there, your brand is kind of the main focus of the piece. Those 2 things are pillars of the verification process. Then you just have to find someone at Instagram and email them, and they'll send it over to the verification team. There's one team that handles verifications across the entire organization, so I think it takes a while. But basically what I'm saying is pray for me. I know you guys want me to be verified. I want to be verified. If 4 gets verified as well, that's great. I'm not as concerned with that. We're in it for number 1 here. So there's that. That's exciting. I also heard from a source, which I won't tell exactly who it is, but that shadow banning is not a thing. That has been at least soft confirmed for me from inside of the company that would confirm such a thing. That shadow banning is not a thing. It was a bug that was prevalent in the platform months ago. They fixed it. They're not banning people from specific hashtags, as they say. So that's a little tip. I also saw that the algorithm is potentially going to be tweaked. I don't know if that's already been done, but they are going to at least stop showing you photos from like 6 or 7 days ago. So the algorithm is still going to be in place. They're not just going back to chronological. Again, I don't ever see them going back to chronological, but they will start weighting those posts that have been posted recently more heavily in the algorithm. So potentially this is something that everyone will like. Who knows? So because it's now, what time is it? 6:05. Let's get into questions. Okay, question 1 is how to use newsletter subscriptions to your advantage. And I'm going to use this as a springboard to just talk about newsletters in general. Last week, I believe we talked about how to stay top of mind with brands and email them and let them know what you're up to. Developing some sort of newsletter strategy, even if you're just an Instagram influencer and you don't have a blog traditionally, I think is super important. If Instagram falls apart, if followers start leaving the platform, attention starts fading, and you don't have a blog, a newsletter subscription is a nice way to kind of capture that audience and take them with you to the next platform. I think that like email is amazing. If you can build a decent newsletter subscriber list, it's also just another place. You email somebody, it's happening kind of outside of that Instagram feed. So again, you're not subject to algorithms or anything like that. You kind of have their attention more. There's a lot of great ways to build a newsletter list, and we can talk about those in other episodes if this is something you guys are interested in. But I think building a newsletter subscriber list is super important and definitely worth your time. I think a lot of people that are doing giveaways and trying to gain followers and then just having those followers leave them would be smarter trying to build a newsletter list, because then you have them forever. If somebody follows you because they want to win a camera that you're giving away with 10 other bloggers and then they unfollow you the next day, you have absolutely no value from that person. You're not holding them, you're not holding their attention. If you can get their email address, then you can speak to them for years or until they unsubscribe. So email is super important, and it's definitely something that you should put in place as far as like a strategy. I don't get many emails, newsletters from influencers, but I'm probably not subscribed to many. A good inspiration is Of a Kind. Just as a business, they built a lot of their business on their newsletter, and it's always kind of talked about as gold standard in the industry of what people like. It's very simple, highlights a couple products, and then I think the founders throw a few links in from products that they liked off of their site, articles they read, things they found interesting. So I think that's really, they're great at that. You know, the newsletter, it can't just be potentially just about you. Again, like we always talk about providing value in every piece of content that you're creating. So, you know, as you think about your newsletter strategy, think about how can I continue to tell this story that I'm telling on my feed through email? Is it a different story I'm telling? You know, what can I do there that I can't do somewhere else? I think, again, the Of a Kind team has done a good job with theirs, so I'd sign up for that one. The only other one I get, and I don't remember signing up for, but Kat Tatiana, I think her name is, Tim will confirm, I'll put the thing in there, but she sends one out pretty consistently. And it's interesting because I follow her and I get her newsletter, but I feel like I am more aware of the big life changes she's gone through, moving, getting a new house, things like that, through her newsletter than through her Instagram. I find that like I remember those newsletters more than I did the Instagram. So that's, you know, I don't know if that's totally arbitrary, but for me, I find them memorable. Okay, question number two. Only 10% of my following is seeing my posts. Is this normal? If not, how can I fix it? I just switched to a business account. We're testing some new products here at Four, and so to do that, I needed to switch to a business account. So it's been super interesting to me because traditionally I have not done that just because I didn't really care. But I know there's a lot of people who feel like I don't want to switch to a business account because Instagram is going to start throttling my reach. I've always thought that is bullshit. I've switched to a business account, and I get as good or better engagement than I got when I was a personal account. I don't think it's treating them any different. I haven't run ads. Again, there's this conspiracy theory that once you run a single ad on Instagram, they'll start throttling your reach so that you have to buy more ads to get your photos in front of people. I tend to believe the good in people. I don't totally know that is happening. That would be a PR nightmare for Facebook, and they already have their fair share of those. So I don't think that's happening. I am getting, on the very low end, 25%, on the high end, 40% of my following that's seeing my posts. Ford is getting 20 to 30% generally. So 10% seems low. How do you change that? I don't know. I think you probably need to get your engagement up. You probably need to try and create different content. You need to try and get more people engaging with your posts, because that feels pretty low. You might also have an unhealthy following. You might have picked up some bots somehow. But I think if you're reaching 10% of the audience, that feels that feels lower than I would normally see. And when I thought about fixing it, I would do something drastic and I would do it, right away. Experiment with different types of content, experiment with posting different amounts. I was recently talking to an influencer and talking about how Insta Stories has become like the feed used to be, and your feed is like Vogue. That's actually a Jamie Beck quote that she told me. That's the way she thinks about it, that like the way she used to think about her Instagram feed, which was, oh, this is just very in the moment and I'll just post kind of whatever I want. She now thinks of stories that way, and she thinks of her feed as like almost like her blog, just the best images. So if you're struggling with reach, post less. Go down to 2 times a week, go down to 3 times a week, once a week, I don't know. Understand that every time you post, you're gonna lose followers, so you have to make sure that post is good enough to gain you more followers than you lose, or you literally are just losing followers every time you post, which isn't super helpful.
How often are you looking at analytics to drive the creative?
I'm not. I think that if you're, I think it's a good thing to do once a month, certainly once a quarter. Take a look at your top performing content, your worst performing content, and try and figure out what is happening on your feeds, what people are reacting to. You can use that to drive creative or not, Again, this is your feed, this is your account, you have to run it. And so if you want to post landscapes and landscapes don't do as well as selfies, but that's what you want to do, then fucking do it. If you're trying to optimize for engagement, then you need to pretty often be looking at your engagement and what's doing well and what's not. You also need to try and be pulling in new things, trying experiments, trying new things to test against what's happening, looking at the data afterwards to help drive your strategic decisions after that. So, okay, last. Question 3 is, I get so many people telling me they bought product I recommended. How can I push them to shop through my affiliate links? So without more knowledge of what this account is, are you talking about luxury products? Are you talking about mass products? It's hard to get exact advice. Again, I always tell the story that like most of the most of the purchase decisions I make in my life are influenced by Instagram, but none of them are through the platform. I never swipe up and buy something. I never click on a link and buy something. So I think that is pretty common. Oh, I bought this thing because you suggested it, and you're like, oh, why didn't you buy it on my affiliate link? But I think it's just because that's not something people are used to. Certainly a blog can help mitigate that. If you have a blog and you've got affiliate links on your blog, people go to a blog and they think about shopping, and blogs are set up, they're much more searchable. You've got categories and, oh, I want summer outfits and here's 10 and boom, you can go and buy it. So blogs are one good way to kind of push people to shop more. It's going to be hard on Instagram. Something I would suggest though is if it's a sponsored post and you're getting a lot of DM questions about the product, or people saying they're going to buy it, or you're getting DMs after they bought it with photos, or they're tagging you in photos after they bought it, definitely screenshot that stuff and send it to the brand. Even if it's 5 or 10 people that asked you very specific product questions, or a few people who bought the product, it's nice to send that through to the brand and show them that people are actually talking about product and they're asking you questions about it, or they're purchasing it. So you can change people's behavior. There are influencers that are converting like crazy through affiliate links on Instagram, but that's what they do. Their feeds are very much the same kind of pose. Every day it's clothes. Every day it's, outfits that are probably decently affordable. None of the pieces really over $100. And they're in their stories swiping up with affiliates in every single one of them. And so I think if you want people to shop in that more kind of the moment way, you probably need to be talking about more affordable things. And you probably need to, for months, kind of get your audience used to this is a shopping destination, so that they're coming to your feed looking to potentially spend money. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, if people are saying they're buying what you're selling, That's fantastic. Again, screenshot that stuff. I just think Instagram is tough with direct purchasing. I don't think it's happening as much as we'd like. So understand that you're not on your own here. This is most people's behavior. So listen, with that, it is time for us to start our weekend. What else do I have to say? It's going to be warm. You know, it's finally broken 50 degrees here in New York City. It's been a long winter, but it's fucking April. It should be a lot warmer than it is, and we're finally getting a decent weekend. So I'm gonna go ride my bike and then drink beer and eat food. So thank you.